killer cops.
Protect your blocks against killer cops.
Protect your blocks against killer cops.
Oink, oink, piggy, piggy, we're gonna make your life shitty.
Oink, oink, piggy, piggy, we're gonna make your life shitty.
They're not here right now. You gotta explain that.
Stop the killing, stop the lies.
Stop the killing, stop the lies.
No more stolen lives.
No more stolen lives.
Stop the killing, stop the lies.
Stop the killing, stop the lies.
No more stolen lives.
No more stolen lives.
FPD, you can't hide.
FPD, you can't hide.
We charge you with homicide.
Yeah, Wolf.
FPD, you can't hide.
FPD, you can't hide.
We charge you with homicide.
Charge you with homicide.
It is right to rebel.
It is right to rebel.
FPD, go to hell.
FPD, go to hell.
It is right to rebel.
It is right to rebel.
FPD, go to hell.
FPD, go to hell.
Okay. Cops kill, they go free.
Cops kill, they go free.
That's what the rich call democracy.
That's what the rich call democracy.
Cops kill,
news,
they
what's
go
up?
free.
Cops kill, they go free.
That's what the rich call democracy.
That's what the rich call democracy.
What up, Lance?
Cops kill, they go free.
Cops kill, they go free.
That's what the rich call democracy.
That's what the rich call democracy.
If you refuse to live like this, let me see you raise your fist.
What's up, Lance?
If you refuse to live like this, let me see you raise your fist. Alright, good job everyone. Now we're just, anyone else want to practice dance? Do you want to practice dance? Oh, I don't have the list, but I'll post it in 6 months.
What up, El Wolf? Hey, El Wolf. I don't know if you talked to Amy about people's birthday parties. So, hey, Sonia.
Like a note through iPhone?
I hear you, Nod Mouse. I'm good, Lance.
Especially when it's cold.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. Look, make your hands cold, but freaking.
We saw it.
Hey, Rosa. Good to see you. Some of you know I've been to this place quite a few times already. This is where me, Johnny 5-0, and Denise Lind met Kelly Thomas's dad. I believe it was 2 years ago. This lady right here, her husband was killed by Fullerton police. There's been 3 people in the last year and a half that have been killed by
Stop the killing!
Fullerton.
Stop the lies!
Stop the killing, stop the lies.
No more stolen lives!
Yes. R.I.P.
Stop
Denise
the
Lind.
killing! Stop the lies!
Stop the killing, stop the lies.
No more stolen lives!
No more stolen lies.
Protect your flock against killer cops!
Protect your blocks.
Yes, Lance. Denise passed away.
Protect your
Your block against killer cops. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. Killer cops, there's only one solution. Fuck the pigs, we need a revolution. Killer cops, there's only one solution. Fuck the pigs, we need a revolution.
It's been over a year now.
It is right to rebel. FPD, go to hell. It is right to rebel.
Karen too.
FPD, go to hell. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. Alright, let's go, let's get loud, I want to hear you guys.
Yeah, she was an OG cop watcher.
Stop the killing, stop the lies. No more stolen lies.
Actually, that was one of the last times I saw her was here with her and Johnny 5-0.
No more stolen lies. Let's go. Oink, oink, bang, bang. Every day the same old thing. Click, click, bang, bang. LAPD's one big gang.
I'm actually in Fullerton at the Fullerton train station. This is actually where it's probably like 10 years ago, maybe longer. Kelly Thomas was murdered by the Fullerton Police Department. He was a homeless guy and they beat him to death.
Yeah, like one of the guys that killed Kelly Thomas. He got kicked. He came from LA. He lost an eye. He got shot in LA and
I don't know what it is.
just in LA.
Oh.
She had health issues. City of Fullerton, state of California. We're maybe 10 miles north of Disneyland. She was on dialysis, Lance. Yeah, if you pull up Fullerton Police and Kelly Thomas, it's a horrible video. And this is exactly where it happened. And there's a bunch of cameras over here. I don't know if you could see that camera up there in between the trees. That's the camera that caught the killing.
All right, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being out here today. We have called
Damn,
this
Lance.
emergency protest
I'm like
to protest the 3
right
police
down the street from
killings
you.
by Fullerton Police Department within the last year and a half. So we called this emergency protest. 13 months is already too many police killings. 2 weeks ago, Jose was killed at Lemon Park. About a month ago, Pedro Garcia, a 19-year-old young man, was killed outside of his parents' home in Fullerton. They called asking for assistance, but were instead met with violence and guns already drawn, and they shot Pedro over 30 times. Alejandro Campos Rios was killed a little over a year ago outside of a McDonald's here in Fullerton. Alejandro was in need of assistance, but instead of any assistance arriving, the police did, one after another, and ultimately ended the life of Alejandro Campos Rios.
Yeah, 30
We
times.
cannot stand for these police murders that are happening here in the city of Fullerton. We cannot stand for these police murders that are happening all over. We cannot our community. So we are here today to protest the Fullerton Police Department and tell them that enough is enough. 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 So you guys ready to make sure that everyone out
What's
here
up, Joe?
tonight
Good to see you,
knows
brother.
about what is happening in the city of Fullerton? Because we know that it can happen to anyone at any time. We cannot let these police murders go. We cannot let them go on. We cannot let the people of Fullerton not know what's been happening in their own city. So today we're going to be loud
good to see
and
you.
we're going to call for the immediate firing of all the police officers that were involved in these police killings. And we're going to call for the conviction of each of these police officers.
I'll get a hold
and
of
we
you,
will settle
Lance.
for nothing short of that. So today we are going to march to the Fullerton Police Department after rallying here and after making sure everyone in downtown Fullerton knows about what's happening here in Fullerton and what their Fullerton Police Department is doing to our communities. We cannot let this go on because enough is enough. 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 If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
He said we're in Fullerton, California. We're at the train station at the site where Kelly Thomas was actually killed here probably over 10 years ago. Last time I went live 6 months ago here. And actually this was the last time that I saw Denise Lynn was here with Johnny 5-0. Yeah, definitely no, yeah.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't sound really good. We're small, but we're mighty. What we're gonna do, my name is Connor. This is Christina. We're both with Dare to Struggle. Welcome to the emergency protest. Welcome to the emergency protest to stop police brutality. Thank you all for being here. I'll say a few words and then I'll open up the mic to whoever would like to speak. Whether you're impacted families or you're people from the neighborhoods around here or you're a member of an organization, this is a time for us to talk to each other, to say why we came out here today, what compels us to be part of this struggle. And I'll say for my part, on the part of our organization, on the part of Dare to Struggle, we're in this fight because this epidemic of police brutality, terror, and murder by police needs to stop. We're not just out to make our voices heard in some abstract sense or just because it's the right thing to do. But we do this because we know that it's only through struggle, only through mass struggle of the people, that we can have any shot at getting any sort of justice. And we saw, many of us were part of and even before this, but just look back to 2020. Millions of people took to the streets against police brutality and terror. And it was only because of that mass movement that was uncompromising, that came back day after day, night after night, and that refused to back down in the face of repression, in the face of tear gas, rubber bullets, against the bold face of what I understand to be a dictatorship in this system. Staring down all of that, it was only because of the boldness and the audacity of the masses of people that there was any shred of justice for George Floyd. When that killer cop, Derek Chauvin, was convicted in 2021, it was only because people got in the streets and would not shut up about it. And we're determined not to back down. So we saw that resistance and we saw it get derailed through many different ways. And we don't have the time to get into all of this now. But come talk to some of us after this. We have literature available to talk about some of this analysis on what is the state of the struggle against police brutality today. But I'll just say this, in short, that we're proud to stand together with people from different backgrounds, different political perspectives, to demand justice for these lives that have been needlessly cut short by Fullerton PD and by police all across Southern California, across the nation. So far this year, the police in this country have killed more than 300 people. And on average, they kill about 3 people every day. And the numbers year after year are actually getting worse. Even after all the exposure, even after all the videos on the body cams, it's more filmed now than ever before when the police kill someone. But it's just as unlikely that real justice is delivered. And we talk to a lot of families, a lot of people say, winning a case, a civil case, or winning, a payout, that's not real justice. And we think that's right. And we think, just as anyone who commits murder needs to be put away for that, it should be no different for these killer cops who so wantonly and without regard for people's lives take the lives of the masses of people. But once again, if they're doing things like we're doing here today, when we take to the street, that's how we begin the process. That's how we begin the process of winning justice. And they're hearing people speak their bitterness about all of this, about what they've been subjected to. And from there, we have to go forward to build a very broad and very important mass movement that unites religious people and atheists, reformists and revolutionaries, people from a lot of different perspectives to actually start shutting some stuff down and demanding justice. That's our perspective we're taking for this. And speaking for myself personally, I think in order for us to end this epidemic of police brutality and terror, it will take a revolution. And if you want to talk about that one-on-one with me, we could do that. But whether or not you agree with that or not, let's get down to business about how we can really build this. We're building an organization actually called Families Demanding Justice that Yvonne here is a founding member of, that we're building up on a systematic level, connecting up activists also with, most especially, the family members of people who've been killed by the police or had their family members who if they were not killed, were brutalized by the police, in some cases, but lived. And this really has to be at the core of this movement, and that's why, we're having impacted family members speak today. I want to open up the mic. Other people are welcome to come up too. If you're a member of Dare to Struggle, you should speak, as we spoke about before. Because we actually got to speak our mind about this. We got to be open, and we have to have a culture of airing out what's really going on, getting really down to the root of where does this violence and terror come from, and what's it going to take to actually put an end to this. So that's my piece. Thank you.
What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. For who? Alejandro Campos Rios.
I'm trying to think of how to do that better.
You have to do an example, and then I'm just doing a
That's right. Okay. Sound.
Yeah.
All the boys and pigs who are killed in Fullerton. There's a list. Together.
Exactly right, Nevaeh.
Just Fullerton.
Justice for Alejandro Campos Rios.
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 Justice for Kelly Thomas.
Justice for Kelly Thomas.
Justice for Kelly Thomas.
Kelly Thomas.
Justice for Pedro Garcia.
That pole that's decorated, that's a
Justice
memorial
for Pedro
for Kelly
Garcia.
Thomas.
Justice for Pedro Garcia.
Justice for Hector Hernandez.
Justice for Hector Hernandez.
Justice for Hector Hernandez.
Justice for Hector Hernandez.
Justice for Hannah Williams.
Justice for Hannah Williams.
Justice for Hannah Williams.
Justice for Hannah Williams.
Justice for Jose Naranjo Cortez.
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 Justice for Joel Acevedo.
Justice for Joel Acevedo.
Justice for Joel Acevedo.
Justice for Joel Acevedo.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
Justice for Alejandro Campos Rios. Justice for Kelly Thomas.
Justice for Kelly Thomas.
Justice for Pedro Garcia.
Justice for Pedro Garcia.
Justice for Hector Hernandez.
Justice for Hector Hernandez.
Justice for Hannah Williams.
Justice for Hannah Williams.
Justice for Jose Naranjo Cortez.
Justice for Jose Naranjo Cortez.
Justice for Joel Acevedo.
Justice for Joel Acevedo.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
I would now invite you all to come and speak to why you're here today, what brings you out, anything that you would like to say. Alright, I guess I'll start. So I am here today and every day in this struggle because I am sick and tired of seeing the faces of people who have had their loved ones stolen by different police departments. I've only been in this struggle for, I want to say, about a year, right? And in that year, I've met people who have lost brothers, who have lost cousins, who have lost daughters and sons. And we cannot stand for it when we know that this is happening everywhere. We cannot stand for it when we know it's happening right here in the city of Fullerton. Because enough is enough. How can we go about our day knowing that the Fullerton Police Department has their loved ones and to our communities. It is not enough
That
for
video
us to
is
come out
more
here
than 10 years old.
one day.
And this is the memorial right there for Kelly
The
Thomas.
struggle is every day.
There's
Every
another
day
video
is part of the struggle when the police
on Johnny
department
5-0's channel
continues to
where we
be
met,
allowed
me, myself, and
to kill
Denise
people,
Lynn met
where
Kelly
there
Thomas'
is
father
no reason for
2
it.
years ago.
There is no
2 or 3 years ago.
explanation for it. And there's no explanation that you can
It's
give
very
to
disturbing,
families who have
and
lost
thank
their loved
God
ones due to this police
that
violence.
even though I'm not religious, but thank goodness.
Because there is no
I don't know if you guys can see that
except for the fact
camera
that these police
up
departments,
between those trees.
they are
That
the
camera
criminals.
caught
They
the
are
beating.
criminals. And we as people need to let everybody know
There's
that.
another video that's
So
way
that we
longer.
can find
It's,
some form
they
of
beat him for like
justice
30
under
minutes.
this existing
His
system.
cries. He was
Our
mentally,
calls for justice are that these police officers
he was
be fired from
mentally,
the force
he had mental
and that
issues,
they
and he
be
was
convicted.
homeless.
And we know it's going to take every
And,
single one of us,
the
every
lady with the
single
green
day
bandana,
committed to that struggle.
Her husband was killed a year ago.
Every single day, we're gonna
Fullerton. Now there's been
push
2
that
other
struggle
killings
forward,
by the same department.
going bolder and doing more action and involving more people who understand that Fullerton Police Department should not be allowed to kill people. Fullerton Police Department has killed 3 people in the last year. They have killed 3 Latinos in the last year. And enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Enough.
Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
You guys want to watch that video?
So we are going to disturb
If a mod can pull up the video, Johnny
who is
5-0,
out here today,
with
who is not here right now,
Kelly Thomas's dad.
fighting in this
It was
fight
quite.
for
It was.
justice.
It was an
And we are
interview.
going to let the
It was
Fullerton
mind-blowing.
Police Department know that we find them guilty of their crimes against
And
the people.
that killing was more than
And we
a
are
decade
again
ago.
gonna fight tomorrow.
It was the police officers that
And we're gonna
killed him.
keep
2 of
showing
them
up.
had come from another department that had
Because
disciplinary
the fight for
actions already on
justice
them,
is every
and
single
Fullerton
day.
Police
And
hired them
we are in
anyways.
this struggle every single day. And we need to let people know that. Because the Fullerton Police
Nevaeh,
Department
don't watch that
will
video.
believe
Is it?
that these killings
I
are
don't cry that
justified.
often, but I was getting there.
The people in
It's
these restaurants
horrible.
believe that the Fullerton Police Department is justified.
I'm gonna try to come back
But we know
July
there is
4th.
no justification,
Uh,
and that they are
Because usually
criminals.
Kelly Thomas's dad comes
And we
here.
need to
He
tell
lives in
it as it
Arizona.
is and be honest about what the police departments do in every single city. So this justice
We need to get our
fight
cop
for
watchers
justice
over here.
every single day, and I'm here with you
Watch
all
Fullerton again.
every single day until we get these killer cops convicted. Thank you. Anybody else want to come on this mic on this day?
Hi everybody, I'm Angelique, a supporter of Dare to Struggle. I'm not really good at these speeches, but but one reason why that I'm here is to spread awareness that we need to indict, we need to convict, and send these killer cops to jail. What is it called? The system believes that it's alright that officers kill and murder innocent people or people that with mental health problems just because they have a badge and a gun. And all I want to say is, if you guys could repeat after me, indict, convict, send the killer cops to jail.
Send the killer cops to jail.
Indict, convict, send the killer cops to
Blue Ivy.
The whole damn system is guilty as hell!
Her husband was killed last year, not too far from here.
My name's Yvonne, and the reason why I'm here is to seek justice for Alejandro Campos Rios and also the other gentlemen that were also killed within the year. We're here to say enough is enough. Fullerton PD is just getting away with murder, and that is not right. They need to pay for what they done. Just because you have a badge doesn't mean it gives you the right to kill anybody. You know, none of these men deserve what they got. Just because you're out and about,
Thank you, Blue Ivy.
or you're having a mental crisis, or you're just being out, or whatever you're doing, they do not deserve to be killed so many times for so many. You know, Alejandro was shot twice, but he was also tasered, and he was also used projectiles on him as well. But you know, all these other people, you know, like Angel Garcia, 30 times, that's overkill. That's an overkill.
Cool, Brandon. Yeah, that interview with his dad is
What is enough?
eye-opening.
Not 30.
And ironically, his dad used to be a deputy Fullerton County Sheriff, which is the county what Fullerton is in.
They haven't finished that one yet, but that one, he shouldn't deserve to die the way they did.
The last guy that Fullerton killed, they shot him 30 times. Yep, Ron Thomas.
To die. God has put us here on earth to live our life out, not to live and get killed. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't understand what these people go through when they're out. And mental health is an issue.
Do I gotta get cowboy boots?
Before I get thinking what it is. You know, these officers are not trained to deal with mental health crisis. And they shouldn't, if they know the person is mentally, has a mental health crisis, then they should go out. They should have somebody else go out. If they don't have a weapon, they don't have anything, then they shouldn't be there at all. At all. And,
Yeah, my brother keeps
you know,
wanting me
they
to
don't
go to
realize that
Oregon.
They tear these people, the family apart. My whole family. I'm by myself. There's no family. Since Alejandro left, there's no family.
How sad.
There the struggles with my family. Been there through everything. These cops don't care how they destroy people's lives. They have no conscience. How would they feel if somebody killed their family? You know? They would be on the news trying to find the people that killed their family right away and stuff like
North
that.
America
Try
audit, good to see you.
prosecute them, but they don't get
We're in
prosecuted.
Fullerton, California,
Not right.
the site of
Not
a
right at all.
Kelly Thomas
And I feel
memorial.
for these families.
And this lady is talking, her husband was killed a year ago.
All these families, you know,
And
I'm not
two
a
more
mother.
residents of the city were murdered.
I'm a mother, but Alejandro wasn't my son.
So in 13 months, 3 people been killed.
And also all these that are out there that, you know,
And Kelly Thomas was killed by Fullerton. It was over 10 years ago.
how they can go through that because I'm still grieving and he's not even my son. But enough is enough, and
Exactly, enough is
all
enough.
these things have to say one way or another. And that's the campaign. Enough is enough.
Justice for Alejandro Campos Rios.
Justice Yeah, Brian, that's they've done that a few times here, especially with Kelly Thomas. And the city council is pretty corrupt here.
So, as Yvonne may have said, we don't even know who the names are of the officers who killed Alejandro. They don't have the decency to release the names. So that's one of our demands. Release the names of the officers who killed Alejandro Campos Rios. That should be the lowest bar, right? They don't have the interest of the family at heart. They don't have the interest of the people at heart.
Protecting
They don't
themselves.
care. They will not do anything until there's pressure put on them to do even the smallest amount of things. Even the smallest thing is to give us the names, to tell us the truth. They will lie all the time. They will lie, they will lie, they will lie. In the police report, they will lie. When we confront them, they will lie. We can't trust them to tell us the truth. So we have to tell the truth to each other. We have to tell the people out on this street
Nope.
in
And
downtown
that's been a
Fullerton,
year.
the people crossing
That's like
the people at the bus station.
my
We
friend
have to tell
Reggie,
them the
his
truth
brother
of
was
what's
killed
actually happening, because that will
2 years
never
ago
come out of the
in
police
Montclair,
department.
California.
That will never be in the
And we still don't
reports,
know who the
right?
cops were.
The only bit of truth that they tell is if there is pressure or some form of accountability that
They do
will
have body
have
cams
consequences
in Fullerton.
for if they don't do it, right? So that's why we are here, is to put that pressure on them. Is to say that when this shit happens, we see it, and we're not going to be silent about it. And every bit of repression that they have in response is to then silence us. And we will use that as fuel. And we'll say, oh, so when people ask for justice, this is how you respond? That's not a cute look. That looks horrible on you. So we're going to expose that. We're going to say, this is what happens when the system sees people asking for justice. They just dig their own grave again. And so we tell the people the truth about that too. So what we're asking people to do is that when you're out on the streets of Fullerton and you see a cop on the Fullerton streets, do you think that they should be able to walk freely? To be able to just do whatever they do without being confronted? Absolutely not, right? So what we can do, each one of us, is go to them, ask them, did you kill Alejandro Campos Rios? Did you kill Alejandro Campos Rios? Was it your partner? I know you know who killed Alejandro Campos Rios. It is a very small department. You all know who killed Alejandro Campos Rios. So who was it? Because you should not be able to walk out here peacefully. You are killers, your partners are killers, and you're defending killers, and you're protecting killers, and we know it. And we're not going to let you walk these streets without saying that we know it. Right? They should not have an easy job of being around us, right? That's where it starts. That's what we can do on an everyday basis. So that they know that there is pressure on them. The community does not stand with them. They stand with the people. The people that they are oppressing every day, and then you have to live with this. And you are grieving, and you will never get over this. Because this takes your whole life. Your life gets turned upside down when this happens to you. And we say, not one more killing, Fullerton, not one more killing. We have to, the people, we say, not one more. Because if it's not us, like who? Like, this isn't just going to magically go away. So I wanted to share something. If Connor, you can turn this one around and flip it. It's kind of hard to read, but this is from a comrade who we collaborate with in all the way on the other side of the country, but who's doing the same stuff, who's in the same struggle, because we are connected. They're in New York, and her name is Linda. And she says, enough has been enough for long enough. So if you could repeat that after me. Enough has been enough for long enough.
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 One more time. Enough has been enough for long enough.
Enough has been enough for long enough.
Justice for Alejandro Campos Rios and all stolen lives.
And always record the police. Always.
enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough has enough is enough. Enough is enough. For long enough.
Some fool sits like my dick.
For long enough.
For long enough. Enough is enough. For long enough. Enough is enough. For long enough.
Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
For long enough. For long enough.
This is the guy they shot 30 times. Or, my bad, 26 times.
You want to try and give it a shot?
26 times.
What? Long enough.
It's like we need to get you on the mic. You want to give it a shot?
Enough has been enough.
Enough has been enough.
For long enough.
For long enough.
Enough has been enough.
Enough has been enough.
For long enough.
For long enough.
Enough has been enough.
Enough has been enough.
For long enough.
For long enough.
Enough has been enough.
I want to see a video of that Blue Ivy.
For long enough. For long enough. Enough has been enough. Enough has been enough. For long enough. For long enough. Enough has been enough. Enough has been enough. For long enough. For long enough. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. Indict, convict, send the killer cops to jail. Convict, send the killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send the killer cops to jail. Indict, convict, send the killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as
Just a little bit, Brandon.
the whole damn system is guilty as
So you find out where he lives
Enough has been enough.
and you
Enough has been enough.
reciprocate.
For long enough. For long enough. Enough has been enough. Enough has been enough. For long enough. For long enough. FPD, you can't hide. FPD, you can't hide. We charge you with homicide. We charge you with homicide. FPD, you can't hide. FPD, you can't hide. We charge you with homicide. We charge you with homicide. FPD, you can't hide. FPD, you can't hide. We charge you with homicide. We charge you with homicide. Indict, convict, send the killer cops to jail. Indict, convict, send the killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. It is right to rebel. It is right to rebel. FPD, go to hell. FPD, go to hell. It is right to rebel. It is right to rebel. FPD, go to hell. FPD, go to hell. Protect your flock against killer cops. Protect your flock against killer cops. Killer cops, there's only one solution. Killer cops, there's only one solution. Fuck the pigs, we need a revolution. Fuck the pigs, we need a revolution. Killer cops, there's only one solution. Killer cops, there's only one solution. Fuck the pigs, we need a
Keep
revolution.
filing his links.
Alright, y'all wanted to open it up again? Would anyone like to come up the mic? To speak your piece? Or what brings you out here today? Anything that you would like to share?
Buck 12!
Buck 12! Buck 12!
Thanks for coming in, Brian. Good to see you.
My name's Koya. I want to say thank you to you guys for showing up, for Alejandro, Jose, and Pedro, all the lives that was stolen. I wanted to say you're not each other's enemies. 12 is the enemy, ICE is the enemy, the whole fucking system is the enemy. And the people here have their
I would
love,
say 35
their
minutes.
children, their aunts,
Blue
their
Ivy?
uncles, their parents, their friends, their family murdered by Fullerton PD. A lot of us here have family who were killed by 12 in different places, different cities.
Fuck is my
They're
battery
here
going
today to
down?
fight back, to have each other's backs, to show them they hold no true power above us. We have the love, we have the people, we have the strength.
Yeah, he's about 35
we
minutes
have
from
the
me.
struggle.
Down the street from
I'm
Ricky.
scared as fuck of talking in public. And if that's the reason why you're not coming up here, don't let that stop you
Today?
today.
Yeah, it's
And
30
don't let
minutes.
this be the last
But like an
time
hour
you see me.
with traffic.
Justice!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
Justice for Alejandro Campos Rios.
Justice for Alejandro Campos Rios!
There's a
Justice for Pedro Garcia.
Fullerton.
Pedro Garcia!
There's a lot of old money here.
Justice for Jose Naranjo Cortez!
Justice for Hector Hernandez.
And they don't like change.
For Hector Hernandez!
Justice for Hannah Williams.
Justice for Hannah Williams!
Justice for Joel Acevedo.
Hey, that's his,
Justice for Joel
whatever he thinks. I mean,
What do we want?
Justice!
it all depends on the city.
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
That's right.
Like property taxes here in the Orange County. Are getting there, they're getting up there.
Anyone else who would like to speak
What's
right
up,
now?
Jethro?
Well, he was being beaten to death with a bag on his head in Lemon Park, right near here, on Easter, early Easter morning. His brother saw the cops driving up and he came back on his bike. His brother tried to stop the cops, tried to protect his brother, and he got arrested. He got stuck in a car facing the other way. And then they arrested him afterwards for obstruction and for being in a park after hours. And the thing I wanted to share that I just heard from the family, from the brother, is that when he was booked in the FPD, the police station, they were all laughing and clapping each other on the back like they'd done something great, hilarious, killing this whole Jesus homeless guy to death. And so, yeah, something's really wrong with the culture in Fullerton Police Department.
Justice for Jose Naranjo Cortez.
Justice for Jose Naranjo Cortez!
Justice for Jose Naranjo Cortez.
Justice for Jose Naranjo Cortez!
Blue Ivy, one of my friends. She moved out there maybe 10 years ago. She sold her house here for $900,000. And she rented a home for a year over there in Texas, near Dallas, north of Dallas, Fort Worth. And she had her home built. And that was like $275 at that time. And her husband started a diesel mechanic business. And he's expanded. They're doing very well in Texas.
And last year, in 2024, they killed, I think, 30 young people, which was the most, that was the most deaths out of any year in the USA. So it really makes you think, like, what's really going on? Like, in Orange County, all these guys are Latino,
Yeah, they only spent
or they're homeless, or they
$300
have
on the house.
you know,
And
why
I think
can't people go to work?
$100,000 to build the building for her husband's business. So they pocketed the rest.
It's not about when they're killed. You know, there's something wrong with the society. It's not right that people are being killed this way. There's a better way that we can live, and it starts by doing this shit. You know, rain or shine, protesting and saying these guys' names. So, yeah, justice for Jose, man. Justice for Pedro, and justice for Alejandro, and everyone else who's been killed by the police.
I'd like to welcome if anyone else who would like
Oh yeah, it's a brand new house. Even the house that she was renting for a year and a half while they were building her house, that shit was nice.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice,
My other friend Denise, she's in
If we
Texas
don't get
now,
no justice, then they don't get
near
no
Spring,
peace.
Texas. It's like 45 minutes maybe
If we don't
north
get
of
no
Waco.
justice, then they
She
don't
just
get
started
no
an
peace.
animal rescue.
Protect your block against killer cops. Protect your block against killer cops.
Some good equity there.
Alright, so I wanted to say something before we kind of get going. So when we do these camps,
Yeah, true.
I want you guys to really feel them and like understand them when we go forward and take the streets. And I think it's very important to really understand them. My favorite being, if we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. So I'm going to say this chant, and I want you all to really understand what it means when we chant, if we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. Because we're not here today symbolically. We're not here today to make a show of this. We're here today because if we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. So if we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
if we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
Louder now. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we
So
want
Larry,
it?
oh, wow.
Justice for Alejandro Campos Rios. Justice for Joel Acevedo.
Justice for Joe Acevedo!
Justice for Pedro Garcia.
Justice for Pedro!
Tulari's about 3
Justice
hours
for
from
Hannah
me.
Williams.
Justice for Hannah Williams!
Justice for Hector Hernandez.
Justice for Hector Hernandez!
200 miles.
Justice for Jose Naranja Cortez.
Justice for Jose Cortez!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
I live like
That's
15
right.
minutes from Disneyland.
Okay, so we need some volunteers to help us carry some of these signs.
Yeah. California is like so spread out. It's so hard.
Hold some
when
signs.
Press Harder came here.
Y'all, when we take the streets, we're letting people know why we're here. Why we're here today, because we
When Press
called
Harder came here,
for an emergency
he was like
protest.
tripping out how long it took.
We called
get
this
places.
protest because this is an emergency. There has been 3 police killings
Yeah, he got out the other night.
just in the city of Fullerton
wound up letting
in the
him out.
last year.
They still didn't get his name.
And we cannot stand for it. So we are not walking down the streets of Fullerton. We are not parading today. We came here today with a purpose, to let people know what is happening, what has happened, and what we will not let happen again. And what we need to do today is make sure that we are heard. Make sure that people know what is happening. Make sure people know that the Fullerton Police Department is guilty of their crimes of killing people in our streets. So remember that when we're in the streets. We're here to be heard, and we're here to demand justice. Because these are our streets. Fullerton Police Department will not make us feel afraid in our own streets. This is our home. These are our people. And we say enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
All right. So we're gonna need 2 people on this banner, 1 more probably for this one for the center, and then we need the banners to come up here. We're gonna step up onto Santa Fe. We're probably gonna stay on the sidewalks for the most part today, just because of numbers. But we'll see what we can do. All right. But the key thing is, grab a sign, grab a banner. I will start assigning people to the banners. So just stay and banners over here. And there'll be, if people want to speak and they haven't spoken yet, there will be another chance. We'll do another speak at FPD at their headquarters. So let's do it.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
We don't get no justice. They don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
Protect your blocks against killer cops.
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 If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
SPD, you can't hide. We charge you with homicide. SPD, you can't hide.
SPD, you can't hide.
We charge you with homicide.
We charge you with homicide.
SPD, you can't
filming till they roll out and then I'm going to bounce. Because I got to be somewhere at 7. It's 6:10 right now.
Alright, everyone, if you get ready to march into downtown, we're going to want to stay together, and that's how we're going to stay safe. Because if we stay together, we're going to be able to be together as a stronger unit. So we'll try to keep pace with everybody. But if you can try to, our goal is to stay together when we go out into the street. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. Stop the killing, stop the lies. Stop the killing, stop the lies. No more stolen lives. No more stolen lives. Stop the killing, stop the lies. Stop the killing, stop the lies. No more stolen lives. No more stolen lives. Stop the killing, stop the lies. Stop the killing, stop the lies. No more stolen lives. No more stolen lives. Indict, convict, send the killer cops to jail. Indict, convict, send the killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send the killer cops to jail. Indict, convict, send the killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. Protect your flock against killer cops. Protect your flock against killer cops. Protect your flock against killer cops.
Okay, right about here. Okay, we got in here still. So I'm going to wrap this up, people. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.